interesting, unique perspective from three players, current players, that are currently in quarantine right now with their program shut down, on pause due to positive COVID tests. We've got St. Joe's Ryan Daly coming up, NJIT's Suleiman Diakite, and Ole Miss's Jarkel Joyner. So stick with us on that. Really, really interesting thoughts on what they're dealing with, both physically and emotionally, mentally going through this process. But first, make sure you subscribe to the pod, the Goodman and Hummel pod, wherever you listen to your pods, iTunes, Stitcher, you name it. Make sure you subscribe, leave us a review. I'm going to do this one without Robbie. He doesn't even know that, but this was kind of an impromptu pod that I didn't know Robbie would have the time to help me out on. So got these guys together. Listen, make sure you also go to Home Field Apparel. Get some gear, terrific stuff. Premier College, collegiate apparel out of Indianapolis, officially licensed. They've got unique logos, designs, great stuff. I've got a bunch of it that I bought recently. And remember, you can get 20% off as long as on your first purchase. Just use the Field of 68. So again, first purchase, Field of 68, Home Field Apparel. And let's get to it right now with our three guests talking about what life is like in the quarantine. All right, Jeff Goodman here with the quarantine trio. And I wanted to bring some guys on here who have been stuck in quarantine a little bit, who have gone through it, who can kind of tell their side of what's going on right now in college basketball from the player's perspective. We really haven't heard that all that much. We've seen the guys that have been able to play games, but we really haven't been able to talk to some of the players that aren't able to play games right now. So I wanted to bring on three guys that I think can speak to it well and give their sense of what's going on behind the scenes as a player dealing with all these ongoing issues with college basketball. We'll start with Ryan Daly, St. Joe's forward. Ryan, thanks for jumping on. And a year ago, you and I were talking in Charleston together.
Yeah, absolutely. Crazy year it's been since November of last year.
It sure has. All right. And we got Suleiman Diakite from NJIT, 6'9" junior, terrific shot blocker, rebounder, you name it. And Suleiman, glad to have you on and glad to meet you.
Glad to be here too.
And then finally, we have Ole Miss guard, an Oxford native who transferred from Cal State Bakersfield back home, and looking forward. He sat out last season and looking forward to this year, I'm sure. Jarkel Joyner. It's got to be hard. And I'll start with you because you are kind of a hometown guy. You're looking forward to playing at Ole Miss this year, and you haven't played a game yet. You've been in quarantine since the season began. Your head coach, Kermit Davis, luckily is feeling better. He was through quarantine. Start with just what this has been like, and are you locked pretty much in your room for the last however many 10 days? What are you able to do, and what's it been like?
Well, I'll say, first of all, thank you for having me on here. And we haven't really been locked in our room. We have the better side of it. We have been working out individually, like one-on-one.
Sure.
With Coach Davis. He works out one-on-one, guards, big. But it's been crazy, though, especially me sitting out. I feel like, man, I'm just so anxious to get out there, and now time delayed again. But, but we've been trying our best. Coach Riley, our strength coach, he's been working out one-on-one. So right after we get done with individuals, we go work out one-on-one with Coach Riley, our strength coach. But we've been trying to get the best out of it we can just to get ready because we have 3 practices and we want to play the Jackson State. So we're trying our best to get ready.
All right. So it sounds like it's not awful for you that you're able to get out of your room. You're able to work out basically 1-0 with your coach for the most part, rotating in with your coaches. Ryan, what's it been like for you? You just went in quarantine over the weekend. You played 2 games. You were able to play Auburn. You were able to play Kansas in Florida, come back. You didn't win, but you play games. It had to feel good. And then all of a sudden you're done now for a while.
Yeah, absolutely. So we didn't have any positive tests throughout Florida. I was anxious because we got tested Sunday before we flew down there. We all passed, and then they didn't test us till Wednesday, which is the day before our first game. So it's like a 3-day period, and that's the longest it's been since maybe like August that I haven't gotten COVID tested. So because we test every day, so that wait was hard, and then we all passed. Us, Auburn, Kansas, and then I think Gonzaga maybe had a player or a manager test positive, something like that.
Yeah, it was a player.
And then we played those 2 games. We boarded our plane back. We passed our test then Friday night, and then Saturday at noon, we did our spit. We didn't do a nose quick swab. We sent it to a lab, and we also did the nose one on Sunday. But then Saturday night, the lab said that we had a tier 1 person test positive. So that was Saturday, but we didn't know who Saturday night. So they said they're going to retest us Sunday, and that confirmed that we did have someone test positive. And at the moment that happened, we were all instructed. We all have individual I don't know what the word would be, individual like protocols. So like a few of us, like I'm an older guy, so I live alone already, so I was able to stay here. I didn't really want to go back to my family, just in case. But then like I think 5 of our guys are home right now. So
everybody kind of had their choice.
Yeah,
where they wanted to quarantine.
Essentially, yeah. And for the guys who are far, like Jadrian and Greg Foster, they're from Atlanta and South Florida, so they got into a hotel. They weren't allowed in the school building, so they've been in a hotel, and none of us are allowed in the gym. We're not allowed to work out. We're not allowed to see our coaches. We haven't. That started on probably Sunday. So today's Thursday, and I think that'll probably go on for 14 days or 10, whatever the amount of days till the 12th or something. So it's been hard. It's a lot of free time, and I'm graduating this year, like this December. So I've basically turned in all my finals. So I'm just watching a lot of college basketball, which is fun. It's just
well, you want to play.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I just want to like play because like it's one of those things where like if you don't feel like you're sick, like you're like, what am I doing? But you understand that the 2 to 14 day window is really real. So you have to abide by Philadelphia jurisdiction and then schools, and so that's just my side of the story right now. I'm just kind of watching games, missing playing.
Doing jumping jacks?
Push-ups. I'll shake this damn apartment building if I start doing jumping jacks.
I think the 4 of us before we get out the Zoom should do like 25 jumping jacks. Just later when we're done with this. Good. I don't know if I can make it through 25. You guys are probably a lot better than me at that. All right, Suleiman, your story. Can we go back? To like the summer with you? And you're from Mali.
Yeah.
And you couldn't go home. You were stuck in Jersey through the whole pandemic. Take me through that for you and what this was like, because I think, again, when these guys hear that, they're going to be like, all right, you know what? My deal isn't so bad.
Yeah. So I was, since March when the whole situation started, I've been stuck on campus the whole time. So I was lucky the school allowed international to stay here over the summer. Some schools shut down. Everybody had to leave. So we were able to stay here. So basically on the campus, we were like 15 people on the entire campus. So which was hard because you had nothing to do. The gyms were closed. You could literally do nothing. You were in your room the whole time. So it was a hard time, but as things go, you kind of get used to the routine after a few weeks and few days. So I got used to that, and then when everybody gets back, like is a different feeling. Like you see people, you want to interact with them, and again with the social distancing, you couldn't hang out with people because you would like when people came back, you didn't want to be like in contact with somebody that was positive, so and put the team in jeopardy. So we were kind of keeping our distances, which was hard. Because in March, like everybody was here, we were hanging out and all of that. So, yeah, and everything was going well. We were practicing and all of that, gym practices. And then 11 days ago, somebody on the team tested positive. So we were in quarantine. Since then, we can now work out. We're not allowed to leave our dorms, our room. So Been
So
here the
you
whole
can't,
time.
you cannot leave your room, period. You're stuck in your room.
Yep,
What do you think of that, Jarkel?
Yeah, that sounds bad right there.
it is
Well,
bad.
at least I'm grateful and blessed enough so we can work out and get to interact with our coaches and stuff. Man, that don't sound too good right there.
And
Yeah,
you've
you
been
guys are
used to
pretty
it.
lucky.
I mean, that's the crazy thing. You did this all summer. Like, did you do it from March, April, May, June?
Yes.
All of it by
That's tough.
yourself in the room,
Yeah.
pretty much.
I mean, during that time, you could leave, but nobody was here. There was nothing to do.
Right.
So I was going for runs and stuff, but still, it's different to have a basketball and be
Mhm.
like working out and stuff. And we couldn't lift either, so the weight room was closed, and all the gyms were closed. So there was literally the only thing you could do was go out for runs. That was it.
So how out of shape were you?
Oh,
Pretty bad.
pretty bad. Basketball shape is different than just running around. So I
Right.
mean, it was. I did something. I wasn't as bad as I thought I would be, but still, you see the difference between how you were before the lockdown and when practice started.
hmm
So you're at day 11 right now?
Yep.
You're coming back. You guys haven't played a game, obviously. I think your first game I saw on your schedule is December 12th against UNH. Is that
Yep.
right?
Yes.
So how hard is it going to be? And this is something that I've said throughout, like when you're shut down for 14 days, Jarkel can do a little bit, but like you're not going to be in great shape either. Let's be honest. When you come back, your team is going to be rusty. You're not in game shape. Your legs aren't there. Your shot's not there. All of it.
Right.
But obviously, Suleiman, like yours is a different deal here. You're going on 11 days. What have you done? Like, what have you done in that room to try to stay somewhat active? Like, what do you do?
So I'm doing some virtual workout. Like there is this workout, the Insanity workout that you could do in the room. So that's what I've been doing the whole time. Just
That's
for
crazy.
hour, 45 minutes a day. And I have a bike too. So I do that too, just to sweat. So that's all I can do. Push ups, sit ups, like some type of cardio. And that's about it.
I know Ryan, you've gotten in good shape, but that was, you weren't always in good shape. How worried are you now being locked in? That you're going to put on a few pounds. You're going to come back. You're not going to be what you were.
Yeah, no, it's definitely something that it's definitely real. There's a thing like you can I could run practice like I could run for practice forever, and then like even before the shutdown, like before that media timeout, like our whole both teams were just like, yo, like this is the game speed. Yeah, it's just like ridiculous. And now you put us all in so we just got word like about an hour ago that we're allowed to do runs individually outside with a mask on in places where no one is, basically. So
see, I think that should be allowed. My take on that, guys, is I think it should be consistent. And that's my problem with, I get it. Different states have different laws, different schools have different rules, all that. But I feel like even with Gonzaga, and you guys don't have to necessarily react to this. If you want to, you can. But like Gonzaga had a positive, and Ryan was there. He knows they played. They didn't play him. St. Joe's didn't play him, but Auburn played him that day. A lot of other schools either wouldn't have played or wouldn't have played them, right? And they did, and you're seeing all these other schools. You guys, in fact, all shut down. Same reason, one positive test. Now, maybe it's because you're not testing every day. You are. I mean, that's the crazy part. I talked to Mark Few about it last night after their game, and he said, well, we did everything. I said, how worried were you? Well, we took the PCR. That's the gold standard. We passed it. And maybe they did. And they did, obviously, since they played, because they just played another game. Yeah. But it's just like, I feel like we're not dealing with apples and apples here, and it's not fair, even with the three of you right now, right? Even with the three of you, it's Jarkel, you guys are going to be a whole lot more prepared than obviously Suleiman and JIT are when they come out of this thing. What's it like emotionally? And again, let me start with Suleiman, because you've been through a lot here. You've been through a lot of being locked in your room and the mental health aspect of this. How difficult is it to get through it mentally and not just say, hey, you know what? I'm going home. Like I'm done. I'm checked out. I can't do this anymore.
It's not easy. It's really not easy. Not being able to do anything at all, not being able to compete, which is the hardest part. Like we've been going at it for the past whatever year. At this time, I played like almost 5 to 7 games already, and not being able to practice, play games, it's just hard. Like, I mean, you try like from May, for example, like during summer. So the NBA was on, and the European basketball was on too, and there were a few games so you could watch that. But right now, like college count, each game is on right now, so that takes a lot of my time. I mean, right now I have school too, like finals coming up, and that is helping me go through this. But during summer when I had nothing to do, it was bad. I had bad days, like I didn't know what to do. I'm like, what am I gonna do today? And every day like was the same. There was no Monday. Every day was a
Yeah.
Sunday. Let's say it was. I mean, I try to make the most out of it in one way. I try to read a lot of book, watch documentary, learn about new cultures, and yeah,
Do
that's
what you
all.
can, right? Do what you can to use that time to, learn something new, improve, whatever you can do. Jarkel, you're almost out. You guys are almost out of this thing, aren't you? A couple more
Yes,
days.
sir. Couple more days. Yes, sir. Monday we start practice.
So what's it been for you emotionally, mentally? I mean, again, you guys were able to at least have human contact, right? You were able to work out,
Hmm.
but have you seen your teammates or no?
I see them when they walk through the gym, but we really
That's it.
just can't have
You just
contact
do one
with
of
each other.
these?
Yeah, just wave, what's up and goodbye, man. Good luck on your workout. It's been
So you're
stuff like that.
FaceTiming, you doing like Zoom
Yes, sir.
deals
We
with the team?
Zoom. Yes, sir. We have Zoom film with our coach every night around 5:30, watching film, just watching practices, just anything to stay mentally prepared because basketball gonna come around again. But just from emotionally and mental standpoint, for me, it's just I sit back, man, and just try to see what's going great in my life. What I got, like a roof over my head. I got food on the table. Parents that love me, and so it's easier said than done because basketball is all I know.
Yeah.
But I mean, it get hard, but it's coming back around. Basketball comes back around.
What do you think? Do you have any advice for the NCAA, for some of these people making decisions, Jarkel, as far as like what they should do in these situations? Is it
Hmm.
is it the right thing? I mean, I think again, what Ryan, what they're allowing you guys to do, I think it's the right thing. Let you guys go outside, and even if it's under supervision, right, run around the track. Now it's cold. It's cold
Yeah.
up in Philly, Jarkel. It's way colder in Philly than it is in Oxford and in Jersey.
Right.
Jersey, it's cold too. So, but what do you think? What would be your kind of advice to try to handle this? Like, what's the best way to go about it?
Just like you said, just allowing some things, running, we run with our mask on, just like being locked up in a room, like caged in a box, man, that's tough, man. They got to realize how mentally unstable that could be for some of us when all we know is basketball. So just like you said, man, just running, doing any type of exercises by ourselves outside, any outside courts, probably
Yeah.
just go around shooting, just something, man, that can allow us to do.
Suleiman, you would shoot in a second outside right now if you could, wouldn't you?
I'm trying.
You go out in your t-shirt.
Yesterday when I saw that the CDC changed the quarantine guideline, I was all over my coaches. I'm like, nah, they have to be out.
They won't let you yet. It hasn't gone in, right? I know. I think it will.
Rules and
Yeah,
so on.
for people that don't know, the CDC, it was 14 days. Now they're hopefully moving it from I think 7, from 14 to either 7 or 10. How much of a difference you think that will be?
A lot. They make a lot of difference when
Really?
you're in the room.
Just because, again, 14, both mentally and physically, the toll it puts on you?
Yeah, for sure. And the thing is so after the guy, one of the teammates tested positive, everybody on the team tested negative. And from that day on, nobody's showing any symptoms. So
Yeah, that's the one thing that's challenging because it's like you could have one person test positive and you're shut down for 14 weeks, but then like who's to say in 13 days like another kid couldn't test positive and we could have to be shut down again. So it's not like this thing where we're all, it's almost this thing where like, do you want to get it, but like if you get it, then like it's like herd immunity essentially. Like you get it and like you're good for 5 months or 8 months, whatever it is. So it's like I'm not running into the person's room who's positive right now, but it's one of those things where like
Totally.
if we all were positive, then we would have a full seat. We could play because we'd be immune to it. So it's one of those things where it's frustrating that like, and I don't know, like it's hard because like you're walking on eggshells if you're the NCAA because like if you if you don't do the CDC's 14-day guidelines, then you look like you're like wow, like you look like you guys are like sports is more important than health. But then it's like another thing like I don't know how you can expect to get through it. I mean, I think the minimum is 13 for the NCAA tournament. I don't know how they're expecting teams to like get to there.
We will. I actually think most teams will get through 13, Ryan. I think everybody's going to have at least one shutdown.
Yeah.
Some are multiple.
Yeah.
But, here's the other thing. I feel like there's 350 teams, 340 take out the Ivy League, take out the Patriot and a couple other teams. But, it's probably 340 that are semi-active and about 35 are shut down right now. You guys are 3 of them. But I feel like as long as Michigan State's playing Duke, Kansas is playing Kentucky, then life goes on, right? Like if the big boys are playing and like the 3 of you guys are shut down with 25, like to me, and I've said this, the day that Kentucky and Duke shut down is the day everybody go, oh man, all right, we got to think about this thing. Maybe we need to take a pause. But because Ole Miss and St. Joe's and NJIT are shut down, life goes on, guys.
Right.
Crazy. Yeah. It's definitely
is.
Whether it's fair or not. And again, I feel like, I just don't know how many guys, and I don't know if you guys have talked to your teammates or other players around the country about this, but I feel like the hard part is going to be, okay, you guys have all gone through it now for 14 days. You come back, you play. You've all had one guy test positive basically on each of your teams. Jarkel, you might have more with Kermit and I know some other guys, but a lot of these cases are one. You come back, and like Stetson had this. They came back, they practiced for 6 days, then they got hit with another one, and they got to go back in their rooms for 14 days.
For me, my biggest struggle with this whole thing has been like I have like a lot of friends from St. Joe's. I'm from this area. I grew up 5 minutes away here. They're all coming home for holidays. Like I want to see my friends. Like and like I can't. Like I told my friends like. I literally texted them all in like September and I was like, listen, like I'm not going to see you guys till like March because they're not going to stop the way they're living. And my sister and my brother, they're not going to stop the way they're living because I can't ask them to do that. So like I haven't seen my sister, my brother, like any of my friends really, unless they've had COVID. Like if they've had it, then I'll see them like in the past, like so they're immune to it essentially. But like it's not anything. It's like you're like it's all worth it because it's basketball, but like there's a lot of the people are like I'm missing out on a lot. I know I'm sure these 2 are like it's just like you think like everything you do is intentional. Like where you go, if you stop in a restaurant for 20 minutes, you're like, am I going to shut my team down and ruin like the next 2 weeks?
Right.
Like,
well, that's the thing. You got to be thinking about your teammates at all times.
That's what you always think about. Like I just think about my teammates, like the freshmen who I've gone through this for 4 years. I've played college basketball. I've had my fun. You know what I mean? Like the freshmen who are here and like, it's coach's second year. Like there's a lot of pieces here that like they're trying to build towards. And like, I don't want to be responsible. And it's like, it's almost like a fear of like seeing people like my own brother. Like I can't even see my own brother. And like, he's a year younger than me. And it's like whatever, we'll just get through this and I'll see you when it's all said and done. But like, that's the one part, just like seeing people. And I know Jarkel, you said from Oxford, so he's around people that he knows back in his town. It's the holidays. You want to see people, but like, like basketball's at the fort. It has to be because you can't be responsible for it essentially. And
right.
Sense of guilt if you are, I feel like, even though it shouldn't be because millions of people have gotten it, but you're just trying to prevent that.
What do you guys say to your teammates? Like if you know your teammates, I'm not asking you to call anybody out, but like if it happens and your teammates are going out to a party, to those types of things, do you speak up? Can you and say, hey guys, you know what? Or are you just like you let them do what you got to do and you're playing with fire? How do you handle it?
I definitely, yeah. I mean, they can. I mean, I'm the oldest guy on the team, the most experience. I've if I see something like I would told him. Luckily, St. Joe's is a smaller school, and we love hanging out with each other. This team's become pretty close because we were spending every night either in my apartment or Anthony Long, just like a teammate's apartment, watching games, just playing cards and stuff. Because like it was like we were just all in it together. You know, we did really well with it. It just unfortunately we got hit with one, but like, and that was no fault of his own. Like it's just if you're one guy that like it just happens. You know what I mean? So that's for my expectations.
Jarkel, how can you handle that? Because you're new to this team, right? You probably got to just kind of do what you do and hope everybody else kind of does what they should do.
Yeah, mostly. I'm pretty close with my roommates, so whenever I see something and they vice versa, they'll say something. But we usually just stay inside, you know, play video games. While one of my roommates play Fortnite, I play 2K, and we just chill. So
you gotten good at that, I bet. Plenty of time. Plenty of time.
My
guess is everybody's video game expertise has gone up here since March, for the most part. Right.
Yes, sir.
Suleiman, you've had plenty of time to think about the answer to this question. What do you do? What do you do if you're giving advice to those that are making the decisions right now how to handle this situation? What would you do?
I mean, even though I get the point of having everybody in quarantine, still, I don't feel like if only one person tests positive and everybody else tested negative, we can be isolated, like in some ways, but not be allowed to be in contact with anybody. You know what I mean? Like we can have like if you and your roommate are on the same team, you should be able to go and work out together, and so on and so forth. I think they should think a little bit more about that and like allow maybe pod practices instead of full team practices and stuff. Because, for example, after we get out of quarantine, we have 5 days to get ready for a back-to-back game, which is not enough time after.
No, it's definitely not. It's
So,
really not safe in a way, but everybody wants to play, right? Like you guys aren't going to say no. You want to play ball.
Yeah. Nobody's going to say no after being like going through all of this,
Right.
having been able to play since March. Everybody want to play, no matter if you have to play the day after we get out of quarantine. Like
You do it. Right.
Still, we're taking a lot of risks. Like injuries can come around.
Yep.
Plus the quarantine again. So yeah, they need to think a little bit more about that part of the process.
Yeah. Listen, I think it's too long. Like I think if you go to 7 days.
Yeah.
I think again, I know you guys are still it's going to be tough. Going 7 days is going to be tough, but at least 7, number one, you can kind of see the end. 14 is a long time. 7 is like, okay, we got a week. And number 2, coming back from that, it's a lot safer. You can come back in 5 days and be a whole lot more. 14 days is it's a long time to be off to play a game in 5 days after coming back. You know, especially after some of these guys haven't ever played a game.
True that.
You know?
Sunday game, so that's even harder. But we'll see. It's a process. We'll see how it goes.
Are you surprised? Go ahead, Brad.
It's like, you know, this 14 days, like I'm cool because I live in my apartment. I have cable. I have a laptop, but like the kid Jadrian Tracy, he's a freshman from South Florida. He's in Philly with no family, and they moved him from his dorm to he can't be in his dorm because they all live on the same floor, the underclassmen basically.
Yep.
And so half of them are in a hotel, and he can't go home because he has to come back Friday. We have to be there Friday for a test. So he's like, I can't imagine. Like I text him I'll call him and just check because and he loves basketball. I can't imagine what's going through. He's just staring at ceilings, probably just like counting down the hours. It's almost like a sentence.
And that's what Suleiman did all summer.
Exactly. I can't imagine what you went through. Yeah.
Think about that. Going through it all summer, getting out, and now having to go back in for 14 again. Like I just can't. I can't imagine what it's like for some kids around. Like I've heard stories of some kids being in quarantine for like upwards of 50 days. And they never tested positive. Now, again, so you can relate to that. That's kind of where you've been to some degree. Your family's back in Mali?
Yeah.
So you wanted to go home, I assume when this whole thing broke in March, you wanted to go home, but you couldn't. They wouldn't let you. They wouldn't let you out of the country.
Yeah, I mean, I think they will let me out. The problem will be coming back.
Coming back. Yeah.
So
Yep.
I don't want to take the risk either. I'm like,
Yep.
well, I'm here, so I might as well stay.
Yep. Do you FaceTime your family quite often back home? Like,
Yeah, I talked to them last night. I talked to them almost every day, every 2 days, every day.
so what keeps you motivated? What keeps you going to be able to get through this instead of saying, hey, you know what? I'm just going home. Like, I'm going home. I'm done. I'll come back next year. We got this year back anyway. This is a freebie anyway. I'm going to go home. And you know what? When this whole thing clears up, I'll come home. I'll come back to NJIT.
I mean, at some point, you have to be grateful. You know, it could have been a lot worse than it is right now. Even though I'm in quarantine, it could be worse. I could be sick right now. There's people that have lost their life because of this. So I try to see the good side of it. You know, even though I'm not able to do anything, I'm not able to play basketball.
Sure.
I mean, I can use the time to do something else, learn about new stuff. Watch games.
What's the best book you've read? Give us the best book you've read in quarantine.
So I was reading the Destruction of Black Civilization. That was about ancient Egypt and Ethiopia and stuff. And I've watched a lot of documentary about everything, wars, like all kind of war that happened, the first, the second, the Gulf War, like that's history. Like you learn about new stuff. And also about the Spanish flu that happened
that's interesting. That when you heard about that, same thing. I mean, I didn't read all about it, but I think I just Googled it and read the basics. You probably read a lot more in depth than I did.
Yeah, I was trying to just learn as much as possible. Just get something productive. I mean, do something productive out of this situation. So yeah, I just try to think about the good side of the story. Like it's good. I mean, what is meant to be will be. So just take it day by day.
What else, guys? What else, Jarkel? You just excited to get out and like play your first game at Ole Miss? You've been waiting for this for. My guess is you were not recruited by Ole Miss out of high school. That's why you ended up going to Bakersfield out there in the WAC. So this has got to be like a dream come true for you to be able to play that first game with a Rebels uniform on in front of your family. You're not going to get that, but they'll still see you on TV, or maybe they will. I guess SEC schools, you have fans or no?
I think we allow complimentary tickets. We can just minimal. So my dad, my mom, my grandma can come if they wanted to. But man,
are they going to come?
Man. Yeah, my dad most definitely gonna come. My mom, I don't know about my grandmas. They on the safe side of things.
Yep. No, you got to be smart. So your first game is Jackson. What is it? Jackson State?
Yes, sir.
On
December 10th.
So what's that? I lose track of all days.
Next Thursday. Next Thursday, I think.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So next Thursday, so you get out. What'd you say?
We get out. We have our first practice Monday, so we got 3 practices until our first game.
meet your teammates again. Meet your teammates, and now let's go play a game.
Right, that's true, man.
But again, like you guys have all said, I think it's tough on all you, but you understand it to some degree, right? You understand how life is. It could be worse, but there could also be things done that could make it easier for you physically and mentally. Is that fair to say?
Sure. Yeah, most definitely.
Absolutely.
What else have we not touched on? What else have we not talked about that you guys are dealing with right now? I know, Ryan, you said, listen, you went through some stuff years ago, transferring from Delaware to St. Joe's emotionally and how hard that was. Are you worried?
Am I worried right now?
Yeah, just that again, you're stuck in there for, I mean, I know it's only 12 days. You'll be okay. 10, 12 more days.
Yeah, it's definitely, I mean, St. Joe's is such a good place for me. So it's not like Delaware, I felt like I was stuck there, to be honest. But here, I'm stuck in a place, in my apartment. But my friends I've been texting them and they hate me right now. Like I think they're about to block my number because that's
You're wearing them out.
yeah. I don't really play video games like that. I just literally watch sports, and so like I'll just call them and like talk, and like usually they're like, like I'm working because like all my friends graduated, so like they're not on
Right.
nowhere near the same plane as me, and I sometimes forget that because I have
Hitting them in the middle of the day. Yeah, in the middle of the day,
like
they're working.
1:30, like I'm doing nothing, and they'll be doing like whatever they do. I don't even ask them because I don't know anything about it, but they kind of look at me like I got like 6 heads because I'll just call them, and like it's like then they'll call me during their like lunch break, and I'm like, oh my, like that's real life, like. But I mean, that's it. I mean, we can get through it. It's just it sucks. We were really safe. St. Joe's has done a great job with the testing and stuff, and it just millions of people have gotten it's unavoidable a shutdown for almost everyone, I would assume. But I mean, I just wish I mean, it's not up to me, obviously. I don't know nearly enough, but like I feel like if you do like maybe 3 negative tests within a day, and then the 3rd day, then the 5th day,
I agree.
at the 7th day of producing 3 straight negative tests, you can start to incorporate maybe. I mean, now that's not St. Joe's, that's probably the NCAA. That's just something that I've thought about maybe.
No, you're right.
Yeah.
You're totally right. Like to me, there needs to be a uniform, universal rule. And again, I know it's not fair this year. Nothing's going to be fair, right? NCAA tournament, who you're choosing, who you're not, whatever. But to me, why can't there be a uniform rule of, okay, a positive test, here's what needs to happen, right? Here's what needs to happen. And you know what? If the school can't afford it, then the NCAA needs to step up and help with testing.
Got enough money, yeah.
Right? They're making $900 million on the tournament. Take some of that money. I've said it for months now. Give like $1 million to 20 leagues that can't afford it, right? SEC is going to be fine. Jarkel, you don't need help. You guys,
right.
You guys are good. But I mean, most of the other leagues, the mids and lows, they could use $1 million to help for testing, and St. Joe's is probably fine.
Yeah.
But NJIT, yeah, they could use some money for testing right now because again, you guys, what were you testing? You were testing once a week in the off season, and then you went to 3 times a week. Have you even gone to 3 times a week before you guys got hit?
Yeah, 3 times a week.
You had.
Yeah.
You had just started that?
Yeah, like 2 weeks before.
Yeah. So, I mean, to me, I feel like, again, somebody gets a positive test, like you said, Ryan, maybe even you test, if you can do it, you test every day for 7 straight days. And or like maybe you do it, like you said, day 1, 3, 5, 7, whatever it is. And after 7, if you produce negative tests, you're good. You're good. You can go out and.
Well, I agree with that. That
right?
should definitely, that would make the most sense to me.
Yeah,
I think we all agree with it. I get, like, again, CDC regulations. That's what they're going to go with. But it's just so different from school to school. Where you watch a Gonzaga, you watch a Colorado. Colorado got hit with one.
That's what I thought. Like I thought I saw a team in the Pac-12. I'm not sure.
It's Colorado.
Maybe they had tests like positive, and then they were playing. Like they only needed like 7 scholarship guys out, like healthy or something. I don't know if that's true, but
well, there's going to be each league. I don't know. I think right now it's up to the schools, but once league play starts, each one of your leagues is going to determine what the minimum number of total players and then maybe scholarship players too. It might be like 5 plus 2. It may be 8 overall in any category. And I just talked to a coach earlier today. He's like, we're at 7, but we got 5 and 2 walk-ons. He's like, I don't want to play. Like, I don't want to play with 5 and 2 walk-ons. We're going to get pummeled. Yeah. I'm going to play 2 walk-ons 30 minutes. So he doesn't even want to play with that, but their number is 7, I think. Yeah. So they're going to play. They're going to play ball. There's just so many things. And again, listen, ultimately the most important thing is what? Everybody's been safe. Yeah. Everybody's healthy. We've had nothing crazy happen, nothing catastrophic happen in college football. So far in college basketball, we've been able to get a lot of games off. Like it's actually surprised me how many games have been able to be played.
Right.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. There's like 10 to 15 cancellations a night, but there's still 30 to 35 games, it seems like, that you can choose.
What's the number you guys would be happy with? Like if I said to you guys all right now, you could play blank number of games this season and I'd sign on the dotted line. Go ahead. What's the number?
Probably like
30.
You said 30?
Yeah. I mean, that's the
30.
number of games we played like the last couple of seasons, so that would be a good number. But as of right now,
We get 18 or 20. That's what I mean. I would love that. I want more. Obviously, it's just one of those things where
Right.
it's already shut down. Yeah, but obviously full season is a goal. But 20 around that would be great. I think.
You guys all feel good? You feel optimistic that there will be an NCAA tournament this year?
Yes, sir.
There has to be. Yeah.
Money wise, everybody knows it's
That's how I think.
kind of about this.
Yeah.
They're going to get that in any way they can. I haven't broken it to my wife and daughter that I'm probably going to be in Indianapolis for a month.
Yeah, that'll probably be a bubble.
Straight. But you know what? I'm not going to many games. I went to the bubble at Mohegan Sun last week for like 3 days, and I'll tell you what, it was great to see players. It was great to see you guys. It was great to see coaches. Different. Like Ryan, when you were in Fort Myers, were any media around? Did you see any media?
I didn't. No, I literally didn't see anyone like at all.
There aren't. Mohegan, they let 3 of us, Andy Katz, Matt Norlander, myself, down where we could actually talk to players, coaches, whatnot. And it was pretty cool. I mean, it brought some sense of normalcy back, right? Like we all want that too. I mean, that's why my guess is, Jarkel, Suleiman, you guys just – like Ryan played 2 games. He got that. And you guys just want that so bad, don't you?
Yes. Please.
Ryan, what was it like? Tell these guys what it was like going out there playing again, because they probably want to know.
It was awesome. Obviously, there's probably been nights where you guys thought we would never get to this. I mean, Suleiman, it seems like you were in quarantine for so long. You were like, is this even going to happen with the trending cases and everything you see on? But, I mean, it was unbelievable. Just to play, even though they let fans in there, but I mean, there wasn't complimentary tickets. The tickets were really expensive, but my parents were like, I don't know if we'll ever get to see you play in person again in college. So they flew down. I mean, it's awesome. It's well worth obviously all this protocols and testing and getting the thing stuff up your nose every day. But I mean, it's just something that I'm grateful that we got 2 games in. I'm definitely grateful. I can't imagine being mid-December and not have playing a game that I think you guys are probably looking at. It stinks because I know how hard you guys work, and I know how hard we work, and everyone just to not even get a chance just because a virus. It's almost like a fantasy land. But once you start playing, it's definitely worth it. I'm hoping you guys we all go no more positive tests hopefully. Because our hearts all sank when we found out. We had just gotten back 12 hours before, 24 hours before, and then we got a call and they didn't know who it was. And so for the first 12 hours, so I couldn't even sleep Saturday night thinking I had it. And so,
is that you guys too? Was it that, or did they tell you right away, hey, somebody else on the team? It's not you, but somebody else. Take me through before we wrap it. Suleiman, start with you. How did you find out?
We knew who was positive on the team, so it just told us everybody had to go back to the room and just stay in there, not leave the room, basically.
How do you get food? Hey, how do you get food?
They bring us food. We have the Res Life taking care of us, so they just bring us food whenever.
They knock on the door, leave it outside, or can you see them with a mask? You open?
Nah, you just knock at the door, leave it, and then leave.
Man,
you have to wait until they leave, then open the door, and it's weird. It's weird.
Well, that's the when you talk about inequity, again, we've been through this already to some degree, but even something like that, Ryan, I assume, I don't know, how are you getting your food?
They're so when they gave us our strength and conditioning guy is really, really good with that nutrition stuff. He's money with that stuff. And there's a company so 2 days ago I basically had to go outside and they said wait for a delivery guy, and I had my mask on and he had his mask on, and there was about 20 bags and I think my teammates who also live in the apartment building were asleep, so I carried it all to my room and I separate. So it's for this week, so it's breakfast, lunch, and dinner for the whole week and a bag of snacks, and I separate. I was like a lunch mom. I was filling everyone's snacks. I gave everyone, then I brought it to their rooms, and then I haven't seen them since. So the food's really good. They're looking out. That's one thing that they've really helped us with. We're not left on our own ordering, Papa John's every night.
What do you, Jarkel, when you're allowed to go, when you go to the gym to work out? Is
Yes,
that when
sir.
you grab meals while you're there, or how does that work?
After we work out, we get breakfast. We have a guy for that. And after the film, we get lunch. He brings us lunch to our apartments. So
After the
we just
film?
leave. Yes, sir. After
So
film.
you guys do individual film too?
No, sir. Everybody do film. Then like he brings food to like separate apartments.
So how does film work? You guys sit further
Um,
apart?
no, sir. We get in Zoom.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
you
what
do
we're
it all. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, we're doing
Yes,
So
sir.
virtual.
basically after film, then they bring you another meal.
Yes,
And
sir.
how's the food?
It's great. We have stuff from Toyo, some other places, Chick-fil-A, wings. They take care of us.
That's good. That's good. Well, listen, anything else to add that we haven't covered? Anything else that's challenging that people don't know about? Have we covered it or not? Like, if we miss anything, you guys tell me, because that was the point of this. The point of this was really to get out there, like, what you guys are going through. And I think we've come up with a consensus. Jarkel's got the best situation. And it's not great. It's not great, but at least he can work out in the gym. At least he can go and get some meals. And Suleiman, man, hang in there. Hang in there.
Yeah, most definitely.
We're all feeling for you, man. And I'm gonna be watching. When you play your first game, is it at home against UNH?
Yep.
It's at home against UNH. I gotta find a way to get that film, because I'm telling you, man, like, that's gonna be pretty cool.
It is.
Right?
I'll wait for it.
I mean, think about that, guys. Think about like everything you've gone through all summer to get to this point. And is it going to be emotional? And I know you're not a freshman, but like everything you've been through to get there, it's got to be a little emotional.
It will be. It will definitely be. All the ups and downs, all the practices, all the testing.
Yeah.
The testing.
Testing, more testing. I've only done about 4 or 5 of them. I can only imagine what it's like to. I think I've done six now total.
6.
And you guys, what? I wonder what the record is. What have you done about? Estimate how many tests have you taken? Go ahead, Ryan. About.
I would say at least 100 plus. You know, we get tested I've gotten tested every day since October, and twice a week in the preseason and the summer. Yeah, at least over 100. Yeah.
What about you guys? Suleiman, what are you at?
I'm in the 15, 20s.
15 to 20. Jarkel got to be higher than 15 to 20.
0.
What? What do you mean 0?
I had it.
Oh, you had it early.
Mm-hmm.
So you're clear here.
Exactly. So
I'm invincible.
I don't know about that. I'm not sure I go that far, but so you're good for the year pretty much. If they go to that 150, depends.
I start back testing in December 15th, so I'm going to start testing.
So that's 90 days.
Yeah, I'm over like 150. I had it in like June, July, something like that.
Yeah. So what? All right. Well, that I can't believe we got this far in the Zoom without you saying that you were positive at some point. How did you feel? Any symptoms? Anything?
Man, terrible. That 10 times worse than the flu. Whatever they said, man. I woke up one day. I mean, I start to eat and I could feel and like my smell going away. I could feel like my tasting going away. I was like, man, what the world? Why? I was eating watermelon and pizza like back to back. Like it was that bad. I couldn't taste nothing. But I still had my appetite. My bones was aching, but it was kind of bad.
So what would you tell? Because again, we all hear, and I hear it from a lot of coaches. Everybody saying, well, you know what? Kids are 18, 19, 20, 21. They're fine. They'll recover. Like, don't worry. Are you in that camp, or are you more in the camp having gone through it of, hey, you know what? We got to take this thing a little more seriously than we are, or no?
Most definitely. I say both sides, because I got over it like in 5 days, you know, like I started to feel better. So that 14 days I was in like a single bedroom apartment by myself for like 14 days. So I didn't feel like I had to be in there that much, but I'm in both camps, you know. It was pretty serious. I never felt that before. I ain't felt like that in a long time. Like I was tired, didn't want to get out of bed. I was sleeping until like 6 o'clock that night. Like I was tired. But
so this one, this one probably at least you doing it. At least you're not feeling like crap. Like at least that part of
Right.
it makes it easier to go through, even though,
Right.
again, you're probably wondering why I got to stay in so long,
Right.
but you feel good.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Well, I'm glad you recovered. I'm glad everything's good. I can't wait to see the two of you guys make your debuts in a way. I mean, I kind of call it your debut, Suleiman, because it's been so long. And Jarkel, your debut with Ole Miss is going to be really cool. And Ryan,
Yes,
you know how I feel about you, man.
Yeah, appreciate it.
I'm glad you're doing well. I'm glad you're hanging in there. I'm glad you came back for your senior year. And maybe you come back for a 6th year.
I don't know.
I can't convince you to come back for a 6. Come on.
I think so. I think I've had enough.
You could be like 26-year-old. You know, you could be older than most guys in the league.
That's probably not on the card, but maybe. We'll see.
All right, listen. I appreciate it, guys. I really do. I hope it was fun for you guys in a sense, and I do
Yes, sir.
think it's important for people to hear from you of what you guys are going through. So, if you need anything, you got my number. All right, you guys text me, and I'm gonna be watching the two of you, and your season debut soon. I'm excited. We're not that far away. It's coming. It's
Right.
coming. All
Yes,
right.
sir. Yes, sir.
All right. Take care, guys.
Thank you.
Yes.
Be good. Thanks again. All right.